Alright, today I want to talk about my Bitcoin price prediction from a video I made back in early February. I think it was maybe on the 5th, just when it touched the $60,000 and it was starting to bounce up. I essentially looked at the volume profile, the annual one, so 12 months, and I noticed that there is a huge volume node right here, right? A high volume node, which I marked as a blue box. And I said that since we're now in this very important high volume node, I essentially gave two possibilities on how the price is going to move from here, and I added a link for you to watch the video in the description. I'm going to include a clip from it right here as well. The eventual reaction, which is going to be either we're going to go sideways, that's the worst scenario right here. Of course, I could always be wrong and it could go even lower from here, but I think the 60s we go sideways, or the good scenario is you do come here, maybe even higher to here before going lower. That's going to be your good scenario in this case. Let's make it green. That's going to be the positive scenario in this case. I don't see Bitcoin just sort of going long from here and then going up. No evidence of that happening. Nothing that would make me think that's possible, but given the high volume node right here, it is possible we're gonna spend a lot of time here before, instead of just falling right through. And then eventually I do think it's gonna fall. I don't think it's gonna hold. So essentially, even though I was thinking it's gonna go to 76,000, 77,000 before going down in my positive scenario, it did go a little bit higher, but I think I mentioned that in the video as well, that it could go a little bit higher to like low 80s, so no surprise there. But essentially it would come back nonetheless to 60,000, which it did, you know, fair enough. And then the other option was just chopping in the 60s, which was not the scenario that the price decided to go with. It decided to go with a more positive one, giving opportunity for people to exit if they wanted to do so. I also mentioned that spot right here would be, personally for me, a good place to add some spot Bitcoin if I was the kind of person who would think that all roads lead to BTC. And I know there are some people like that out there. Let's do an update and see what I think the price is going to do from here. First, let me get rid of all the drawings from the old video. Alright, so what do I think is going to most likely happen now? I think that we could potentially go to 63,000 right here. That's going to be scenario one. And then sooner or later, it would still go lower. And the first spot for me that I would be on the lookout for would be this high volume node right here, which is 50,000 to 52,000. So I'm going to mark that. And then the other one is going to be a little bit more conservative. It's going to be 42,000 to 44,000. I'm also going to mark that, so roughly here. So these are the spots that, if I was interested in adding more spot Bitcoin to my long-term bags, right? Talking about someone who has a thesis that essentially Bitcoin is going to $1 million, then I would think that these are good places to add some more. Other than that, I think the only scenario in which the price goes higher from here would be, forgot to delete this one. The only scenario where the price goes up from here would be if we do manage to cross and close higher than 66,000, right? So this right here. And I'm going to mark that green, and I'm going to say then there is an opportunity for us to go higher. But until the BTC is over 66,000, I would be looking for a scenario where it still goes lower eventually, right? So it could be this week, could be next week, could be next month, could be August, doesn't matter. Until it's above 66,000, the main thesis is that it's going to go lower, and if it's going to go lower, then it's 52,000, 50,000, and then if lower than that, then it's going to be 40,000, 42, 44,000 or so. So that's my take on Bitcoin based on just price action and volume profile alone. All right.